Hey, we're live.
Hey.
Welcome to MCU Mondays, where today I'm joined by Debbie, as always. I'm Chris, my co-host, Debbie. It's in the theme song, so you know we're going to be here. I'm doing great, other than the entire, Facebook nonsense and the social media shutdown that we had today. That was almost canceled this show, by the way. And it was Agatha all along. Oh, that witch. I thought it was actually Mephisto, but
I was going to say it was Mephisto.
It was Mephisto. Well, he was manipulating her, so
Yes.
everything was Mephisto.
with Nightmare being the go-between.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually, I just saw an article that in the comics they're making Mephisto like Spider-Man's worst enemy and the Avengers like worst enemy, which kind of hints at that's the kind of thing that they're doing in the MCU because they like to do those things simultaneously. Someone was arguing with me about Scarlet Witch, and they're like, if you look into her backstory, she wasn't always a mutant. And I was like, those comics were written at the same time Age of Ultron was coming out. If you look into her backstory, originally she was a mutant.
Oh no.
Uh-oh. It's Facebook. Facebook strikes again.
I have a thunderstorm, so if I blink out,
There he is.
because of that. Am I back? There's a thunderstorm, if you can
Yes.
hear me, and it might interfere with my signal. So if I just pause, just feel free to take off and talk about whatever. I was actually about to ask how are you guys doing? See,
Good.
it's happening again.
Doing good. I thought it was just me today. I was frantic and I was like, why can't I get into Facebook? Because it kept taking me to the login and I thought somebody had hacked me. And then I couldn't get a hold of anybody on Messenger. And I was like, everybody's ignoring me. And then I got on Twitter and found out the truth. So
Yeah, it was kind of confusing at first because everyone, and I wasn't. You're not the only one that had that. Like, my first thought was like, what happened to my internet? Like, no, it wasn't my internet. It was Facebook's internet and everything that they're related to. Tons of things. StreamYards was screwing up, because it's connected through Facebook, and so many things are connected up through Facebook that people use. So it didn't just screw up just that was actually a whole lot.
That was
Messed up a whole lot of people today. Yeah, I know. Like all of Geek News Now, for instance, great organization. Everyone should check out Geek News Now. We communicate almost exclusively through Facebook, so it was like silence on the frontier today. Like
Everybody, hope you had a good day off.
yeah. Well, life didn't stop. Just virtual life is on pause. Your half-life. Anyway, Dave, how was your day with the social media?
Oh, my day. I keep busy with my hands all day at work, anyway. So getting on social media is, every once in a while I'll stop and check, but my feed never stopped. My feed was always up, but it
was up,
for
but you
going to
refresh it or anything.
Marketplace, and I guess Messenger, because I was using Messenger the first part of the day, but then it stopped. But I don't know. I didn't notice it until we got home, and my wife said something about I can't look around the thing.
David, I like that you said you kept your hands busy because you know what they say.
Idle hands
are the devil's plaything.
Idle hands are Mephisto's plaything.
Mephisto confirmed.
Oh.
So yeah, keep those hands busy, ladies and gentlemen. We had a great show today. I'm excited to talk about all the things we're going to talk about. We're going to be talking about What If first. Actually, first we're going to talk about Eternals. They released a new teaser trailer, so we're going to take a look at that. Then we're going to move on into What If Episode 8 with Ultimate Invincible Infinity Ultron, which is dope. And then we're going to talk about Venom. I didn't get to see it, but I'm excited to hear about what my co-host thought of it. And I'm excited to hear. There's going to be spoilers, so we're going to do that at the end. But guys, I'm really looking forward to this one. But first, we got to start every show with our sweet, sweet theme song.
Theme song guy.
Oh yeah! It's MCU Mondays on Geek News Now. We're talking about all
And we are back.
Hey.
MCU Mondays. Love that theme song. Quick voices inspire me. Just I don't know, something about them. We've already got some people commenting. We got Cam, another GNN member. Failbook, no. Failbook, yes. Oh, Failbook, very
yes.
much, yes. And David chimed in. David, who is that guy? I don't know. Random person.
Not me, David.
Facebook is so full of fail that I posted this 18 minutes before the video even started, and it is just now posted. That's impressive. That's impressive. It's like using Internet Explorer. Usually. It's almost like time travel. It's like, how does it feel to be in the 1990s? You're gonna look at a website today. Well, it's gonna take 5 hours to load.
Hey, don't forget to get your AOL trial discs.
Got to jack into the phone line. Jack in. Oh my goodness! I feel like that was in a Mega Man show that they were jacking in. So many people jacking in. Kids these days jacking in everywhere, uploading viruses. That's double entendre at its finest. First, we got a new teaser trailer for The Eternals that we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about it after we watch it, so let's do that.
Eternals. We came here to protect humans from the deviants. When you love something, you fight for it.
Dad, I saw him on TV with the cape shooting laser beams.
I don't wear a cape. You can't protect any of them.
Let's finish this.
Marvel Studios Eternals, rated PG-13, only in theaters November 5th.
So, I don't think there's too much more new information there. The Eternals are coming early November.
More shots
November
of
5th.
Homelander.
It's like literally like a yeah, there's
Homelander.
Essentially.
Oh, but he doesn't have a cape. I'm sorry.
It's different. Then he's okay. It can't be Superman then either. Yeah, more shots, kind of them using some more powers. We see her cut a chunk of lava in half. That's neat, I guess. Really not a lot to go on there. The only reason I knew this was out is because people were sharing it saying that this is the first gay couple in the MCU. I guess those are the two dads, but I was just looking at it, I was like, did someone tell you that was the case? Because that could just be his like uncle or something. How do you know for sure? I guess though that they've confirmed it or something, because I've seen articles being written on how, like, I think that's like the first married gay couple or something like that in the MCU, and I think that's correct. Because I think there was just Valkyrie who was supposed to be bisexual, and then
you had in Endgame at the very first when Captain America was doing his little.
Oh yeah, that was actually one of the Russo brothers.
Yeah.
Cameo. Yeah, he talks about how he went on a date and they were both crying during the date, and he says then he started crying. So you're like, oh, he was on a date with a man, which is that's what some people were like, but it's whatever. But that's interesting. A neat note, I guess, but I don't know. That's not what I judge going to the theater upon. Let me know what everyone's sexual preference is, quick, or else I just can't go to your superhero movie. So otherwise, yeah, the special effects, obviously, it's Marvel, look
amazing,
pretty top tier. I mean, those monsters look pretty crazy. That spaceship that looks like a giant
Dorito
or whatever. Yeah, it's like here's a big floating.
You know what's so interesting about that? I was in the store the other day, and I hey, Lego fan, right here, look, see them all? But I was looking at some of the Eternal sets, and they have that ship as one of the sets that you can buy, and it's little teeny tiny, and I'm like, okay, I get wanting to make it affordable and everything, but come on. If this is
Kids, they need to be able to play with this and imagine it being larger than whatever they're pretending the Earth is. So
I guess.
No, I hear you. You should make it bigger. I mean, like, how big is that Lego of a Star Destroyer? It's like
Oh, I had
Yeah,
one
you don't
that
have
was
to.
it was 50 some odd inches. I had the Super Star Destroyer. It was great.
But because it's supposed to be. It's like, and when you hold it up compared to other toys and stuff, yeah.
And
Look, I got something that looks basically like a cell phone. It's like the same size even now too, except it doesn't probably nothing that a cell phone does. I can't imagine that toy is better than just if you had to choose between a little spaceship and like an actual cell phone, you'd probably be like, oh, the cell phone has apps. I'm gonna use those apps. I don't know. So anyway, a new Eternals teaser, not too much new there. Let's dive back into the crazy, wild, wonderful world of What If. And this episode was, just as I predicted, full of action, full of excitement. After the last episode with Party Thor and like everything, and we had a guest on, and he was like, it was just too jokey and too nonsensical. I was like, that just means that they're leading up. That's the setup to like, and this was so crazy. There's a lot to talk about in this. Let's start right from the beginning. It starts out with the Watcher literally saying it's a doomed world. So we know that things are going badly. And it's Black Widow and Hawkeye fighting Ultron bots. And this episode kind of jumps back and forth because after this, we kind of go back and see how Ultron came to be, but this is after all that. So we see this Black Widow and Clint, who has one arm. He has a mechanical arm. He's got like a Winter Soldier arm and an awesome cloak of invisibility.
Yes.
He like robbed Harry Potter at some point and was like, I need this more than you. All right.
You know, the only thing I thought of the whole first scene was, and it kept flashing through my mind, was we're out here and the island, the city's floating, and there's a bunch of robots, and I have a bow and arrow. None of this makes sense. I was just like, oh, here it is.
He was doing good work. Yeah, he is fighting the robots, but still, he also very much had that resignation about him. Like he is just, I think his family's obviously dead at this point, like because they mentioned that when the nukes dropped. But I mean, this Clint, and he does talk about later how he's like very close to giving up. But we also have a foreshadowing right here, very beginning of the episode, of him falling off into the abyss, so as it were, and that's kind of how the episode for him ends with an awesome shot. And I have that too. We'll get to that later. But I thought his robot arm was pretty cool. He had to get one of those, you know. I don't know how you arch without. I think Green Arrow did it supposedly for a while, but I think he also got a robotic arm in DC Comics. But it's definitely hard to be an archer when you only have one arm.
Get a crossbow.
I guess you could, but that'd still be hard to not. I mean, I say if you have the possibility to, if you know someone who's good at robotics, get yourself a
robot arm.
Yeah, robot arm. I mean, I don't know how far I trust it because, like, a robot uprising, it's kind of dangerous to use a robot arm against Ultron now. It takes control of your robot arm. And so then we kind of see a flashback of Ultron taking over, which was pretty sweet because he takes over the world. He nukes the entire planet. Not that that's something I want, but it's cool. What if, you know? What if Ultron won? He's got the Mind Stone. He's got his perfected Vision body. And then Thanos shows up kind of immediately after Ultron. He just beat the Avengers. He nuked everybody. The only reason that Black Widow and Hawkeye weren't involved because they were in a Quinjet. So then Thanos shows up, and you think there's going to be a big fight there, and there's nothing. He just slices him.
He Han Solo'd him. He shot
slices him. It's so fast and unexpected, and a lot of people are actually kind of pissed off about it because they're like, "You're making Thanos look like an idiot," or they're saying, I don't have the memes here, but I've definitely seen some memes where like Thanos shows up in Infinity War, Vision just slices him, and one of the one of the Wakandas goes, "You could have done that the whole time," or something like that. Yeah, it's like, why didn't? Is it that easy to beat Thanos? You know, I feel like they might have made it a little too easy because he had the gauntlet. He had 5 of the other stones. What do you think about that? Or anybody watching? Do you think Thanos went down too easily? Debbie, what do you think?
I thought it was funny as hell. I mean, it was unexpected. I was just like, what the heck? Because I was like, well, why the hell didn't he do that in the movie? But, you know, it's what if. It's a, you know, animated series. They can do whatever they want.
That's also true.
Yeah, you know, I thought it was funny. You know, Thanos didn't even get to even say a word. You know, Vision just took him out.
He didn't even give him enough time to react. He looked at he saw him come through. He saw the stones and he went.
Dude, wouldn't it be funny if he like hopped over to a bar and like Darth Maul is sitting over there on like 2 stools and it's like, oh, they got you the other way. Yeah, right up the middle. If you had to be cut in half, how would you prefer it be done? Oh man. Which would you think? I don't know. I prefer, hey, don't get cut in half. If you get, you know, don't bisect me. That was brutal. Yeah, I think it was partially to show just how dangerous Ultron is, especially this version of him, because now this is all like Ultron with the Mind Stone. So Vision, maybe the reason why he didn't do something like that is that he's merciful. I think Ultron even called him like unbearably naive. Mm-hmm. It's like, well, it was born yesterday. But he is. I mean, he doesn't want to kill people, so he might be holding back and trying not to kill or something like that. Whereas Ultron would just be like, if I want to murder someone, I'd do that instantly. And then, oh, let me take these, you know, then he, you know, that's exactly what he does. He takes the Infinity Gauntlet. What'd you think of, they didn't get James Spader?
Oh, I was mad. Oh,
I was waiting. I was so, you know, I was anticipating. I'm like, oh, I'm going to hear James, and then no.
It just and it really
wasn't a great imitation either.
It wasn't either. I mean, it sounded a little.
Paul, wasn't it? Wasn't it still Paul Bettany? Vision?
Oh, I have no idea.
I don't know.
I forgot to look at the.
It sounded a little like nasally.
I just heard it and I was like, it kind of sounds like him, but that ain't him.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I didn't think it sounded like him at all. I was
thoroughly. Well, it sounded like someone doing a bad impression of him. It was like, you've heard what this is supposed to sound like. I can tell that, but you can't do that good of an impression. Like, as opposed to, say, Tony Stark.
Yeah.
Whenever he talks, I'm like, it's pretty close. That's when Vision was talking, I was like, oh, come on. Why would you choose someone with so many lines to get such a mediocre performance? There's so many good lines. I just like imagine James Spader doing them. I thought hopefully someone can cobble together, like, I'm sure there's an app coming out soon where you can just change your voice in anyone's voice if that doesn't already exist. Someone showed me that someone was actually working on that and they had already done it with someone famous, but I forget who famous it was. I think it was on one episode of the Kerfuffle that I did. But anyway, yeah, so that's happening. Eventually they'll be able to recreate anything. And on that day,
then we get James Spader back.
I'm going to be posting a whole video of just it's this episode of What If, but James Spader is doing the voice of Vision. You're welcome.
Yeah.
Well, there's some people didn't even like him as Vision. I thought he was great, but
what?
Yeah, there are people that didn't. They're like, why does a robot sound like that? And I was like, it's an AI built by Tony Stark, though. Could totally sound like
Spader just has that. He can use that arrogant, egotistical thing with his voice that I thought it was perfect for Ultron.
Robert California, if you're a fan of The Office. Pretty sure that was his name on that.
Actually, I was thinking of The Blacklist, but yes, go right ahead.
The Blacklist, yeah.
Yes.
That's a good
Blacklist
one.
was amazing.
I think of Boston Legal, so.
Oh.
I just started watching it.
Dope.
It's pretty good.
William Shatner and James Spader every episode. Yeah, thank you. However many seasons are you? I've got them, and I rewatch them every once in a while just because it's like, oh, William Shatner and James Spader in a show together. Yeah, again, shut up and take my money. Where's the whatever? It's too late.
Where's the thing? Where's the thing?
Where's the thing? It doesn't matter.
God. They know what we're talking about.
Yeah, shut up and take my money. And then, so once he gets all the stones, he says, I can see everything. And that's actually a foreshadowing.
Now, prior to that, though, before the stone showed up, he said, after he nuked everything, he was like, peace. I've done it. I've done
Once
it.
He killed all life on Earth, basically.
He was like, I've done it. It's peace. And you could see just in his eyes that he was like, I've got nothing to do now. I have no purpose now. I have created peace. And then Thanos shows up and he's like, oh, look, a whole lot more unrest that I can go take care of.
You mean the Watcher?
No.
Thanos, when Thanos shows up.
When Thanos
well,
shows
later, again, that happens again, basically. That's why this was a foreshadowing of that. This opens his eyes to the greater universe. Conquering that opens his eyes to the multiverse. Which then leads to... Well, first, I mean, he actually just goes out and straight up conquers the
universe.
Galaxy. Yeah, the universe. Not just the galaxy, the universe, because that's his mission now. He knows that the universe exists. He has to go spread his Ultronness everywhere. And he even fights... I mean, he takes down Asgard first. Like, he goes to Asgard and just blows it up. And they show a bunch of different places that we've seen throughout.
It was Xandar. And,
Actually, that's where Captain Marvel finally shows up. What's she doing out there that she's always so late?
Okay.
What is she doing? Where the hell has she been? There's a lot of other planets out there. You tell me what was so important and where.
See, okay, so Luke and I were watching this, and when he attacked Xandar and she nailed him, and she stood up, and I was like, oh, it's Captain Marvel. And Luke looked at me, and he said, that should have been Nova. That would have been an excellent way to introduce a Nova character, is have him defending Xandar, because that's where he came from anyways. So why didn't they bring Nova? Why'd they got to bring her back?
Are we expecting to see Nova? Possibly. And if so, would it be in Guardians of the Galaxy 3? Although James Gunn has mentioned that he's like bringing that, and that's gonna be a holiday movie too. I have no idea what they're gonna do. That's gonna be nuts. I can't wait for Guardians of the Galaxy 3. It's gonna be a holiday James Gunn superhero movie. Thank you, God. Finally have another moment.
Shut up and take my money.
Yeah, it's relevant again. Came back around. I can't wait for the holidays to get here.
What's in the box? What's in the fucking box?
Use that all the time. Anyway. But Captain Marvel shows up, whatever reason they had for using her. And maybe it was just to show her getting beat, because that is exactly what happens. But she does punch him to the core of a planet and then start punching him over and over again. And I was like, it's something you can just do. That's pretty impressive. We haven't seen someone do something quite like that. Now, do you think Thor could do something like that? I mean, he'd taken the full blast of that star.
I was going to say, he's been in a star, so sure, why not?
Yeah, he just usually doesn't do something like that. Although, then again, you think about him fighting Thanos with Captain America and Iron Man, and you think about how that went. I was like,
not so well.
It's like, I'm pretty sure Thor should have been able to solo him at that current point, but I don't know.
Especially with Mjolnir and Stormbreaker.
I still don't get me wrong, I love the fight. It's just like now when you put it against these like what if things, and that's another thing. It is what if. It's just maybe in this universe that happened this way, but it's infinite possibilities. So 1,000 other times it almost happened like that, but didn't. Or 1,000,000 other times it almost happened. It's infinite possibilities. So you can just take whatever you get and be like, okay, again, something that happens in what if does not mean, oh, this is now canon in the MCU.
Right.
That's not. And I see people, like,
I don't know. I have some theories when we get to that point.
Well, it's I'm not saying it doesn't, there can't be an effect, because Doctor Strange, Dark Doctor Strange, I mean, we're going to be talking about that at the end of this episode, but that kind of thing. Will there be something from the show that actually affects the other stuff? Yes, but not everything really matters. There's, again, infinite possibilities. But so, Screen Rant, what if toss the MCU's timeline out the window? Marvel just secretly retcon phase 2 and 3's timeline again. What if is playing with the timeline in so many ways? That's one of the reasons I hate Screen Rant, because they will purposely publish like they don't know what's going on. I don't understand how the timelines work. What are they doing? Rewriting the timelines? Click to find out more. No, don't, because that's a lie. What's actually happening is it's a multiverse. There are multiple timelines. Not everything that happens in What If changes
MCU.
the MCU's, the main timeline. And I think actually, we'll probably talk about that a little bit more when we talk about Venom stuff in the end of this episode. But yeah, not everything that happens in every What If directly affects like the main live action storyline, if we can separate it thusly. But there can be things that affect that. Screen Rant just piss me off. They almost get me to click every time just because I'm infuriated. But I know it's the first paragraph's just going to be the opposite of whatever the title. Like, and I need to start keeping a list of just. They're not. It's an opposite. It's just the first paragraph is just the opposite of what the title was, which should be illegal. I really freedom of speech, whatever. But just these people and their damn. Anyway. That's what I got worked up about. But yeah, Captain Marvel gets beat. And that's when Ultron discovers the multiverse. In a way that I really liked too. What'd you guys think about that scene?
Where he just turns around and says, "I can see you."
While he's narrating. Well, he's like, he was aware of another presence. I was like, bro, do you hear yourself? Bro, do you hear yourself? You're literally sitting in a movie theater, except you're about to get murdered in the movie theater, commenting on what's happening. Like, that dude better get up out of that chair and run. You're that dude. He became aware of another presence. You're that presence. He's going to try and kill you. Have you met with this guy? You've been watching him. Have you noticed what he does? Murder is what he does. I think Bruce Banner put it best. We created another murder bot.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of creepy because, I mean, you're concentrating on the Watcher doing his thing, narrating like he always does. But then you see the subtle facial changes in Ultron. And then you're like, oh, shit, he can hear him. And I was like, oh, boy, things are going to go downhill from here. Even worse than what it was before.
Absolutely. I think one of my favorite memes I saw, which I forgot to grab, was like episodes 1 through 7. What if? Episode 8. What the F?
What the F?
Because even the Watcher is like, I've seen everything that has ever happened, could ever happen. But what the hell was that? He literally is like, this is new for me. This is new, and that's what turns it like into an awesome, crazy fight. And actually, he then goes back to because he's like, should I interfere with this Ultron at this point? Because he hasn't done anything yet, and that universe is basically ended. Once again, he watched and did nothing. But now he's actually in danger, or the multiverse is in danger. But basically, it's an excuse for him to like try and get involved. Basically, he just goes back to watching. He doesn't tell Black Widow and Hawkeye where to find the thing. In fact, he does, but they can't hear him. But that seems really funny too. And he's like, "It's right there. It's right there." But I guess Hawkeye isn't like preternaturally aware enough. Hawkeye's about to give up, and then so their whole solution. Well, what did you think of this scene? Do you think the Watcher should have taken a more active role? Or?
I was going to say, I think he was. It was almost to the point, at the very end. They say Strange says, "I want to hear you say it." You need to break your oath. And I think he was real close right here. I think he was almost to the point of smacking Hawkeye in the back of the head and saying, "It's right there. Look right there."
And I think it's because over the whole series, I mean, he kind of started out as a silhouette way in the back. And with each episode, he's become closer and closer. And you can now make out facial features and everything. And I think at this point in time, he has become so involved, even though he's just watching, but he's been so involved with these characters that he's gotten to the point where he actually cares about them. At least that's my viewpoint. But evidently not enough to actually interfere. But you can see that, you know, he gets more and more involved.
Definitely. Although I still think that he wouldn't have acted if he himself hadn't been put in some kind of danger. But yeah, he was definitely basically almost driven to that point then. But you can tell how bad he really doesn't want to break that oath. Kind of want to learn some more about that. But you can understand kind of why with great power comes great responsibility, right? That's how that saying goes. So if you have ultimate power in the multiverse, it seems like there's probably a lot of responsibility that comes with that. And he's using it responsibly, probably, or at least not irresponsibly.
Did we lose Chris again? Oh, hey.
I was for a second, and I just figured I'd freeze in place when I came back.
Must be a pretty bad storm
I'm
out there in the
telling you.
East Coast. So, Dave? What did you think about the Watcher and Ultron fighting, and they're breaking through each?
They're going through each different
multiverses. Yeah.
Well, I was glad to see he had a more active role. There he is.
Hey,
hey, what's up? But I was glad to see he had a more active role. And it's, I don't know, because we've got one episode left, and the way it ended, for some reason I was looking at What If as these are all going to be self-contained, one-shot stories, not necessarily a carried on, oh well, this happens because this happens because this happens. So and now these last two episodes, it seems as though actually, and if you want to count the Strange episode, even that, it seems as though that's what they're doing is like, okay, well, now the Watcher has to defeat Ultron within his universe, and he's got to pull Evil Strange in to come help him do it.
Multiverse Avengers.
Well,
Boom.
See, that's what I was just thinking too. And we discussed this. We're like, okay, there's still, you've got the Multiverse Avengers that have not made an appearance yet. Within the, you had the whole panning camera scene where everybody,
Gamora.
Right. Gamora with the Thanos. She had the
double-bladed sword,
sword, and all that other stuff.
Black Panther, Star-Lord.
But then also too something else, and I'll go back to my Lego sets again. There's another Iron Man suit coming out. That's I think it's a Wakandan Iron Man suit. It was a What If Lego set that came out, and there have been two big suits, and one of them was the from the Agent Carter one, it's the Hydra Buster or Hydra Smasher.
Hydra Buster, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And now this is we still haven't seen this one that was in this set. And I have a strong feeling that it's going to be there because one of the other sets has the little Watcher minifigure. And that was one of those things is the Watcher going to get involved because he's got a minifigure now. So
yes.
Well, if there's another suit, another opportunity to kill off Tony. So
Yeah.
be like the 6th time now.
I am Iron Man. They'll say it again.
Yeah, they're killing him.
I think it's a running joke with this series.
They're just like, get used to Stark being dead. This is like a land of infinite possibilities, right? Well, yeah, but we're just showing you ones where he happens to be about to die. In fact, he's going to die while you're watching. What? Why? It's also like the first of the Avengers to go down in that episode where they killed all the Avengers. It's like, all right, here's Tony. He's dead.
So,
or it would be great if he lives through the end of the episode. What a twist that'll be.
What's the twist?
Yeah.
It'll be Banner that sacrifices himself.
They'll put him into the Matrix, like this guy. Well, that's how they're taking down Ultron, apparently. I was like, hey, yeah, let's get a guy who put himself on a bunch of tapes because he's more advanced than Ultron, an AI created by Tony Stark and the Mind Stone. What? Why does this work? Why does that make any sense?
Because we need another bad guy running around the MCU, and now Zola is mobile. He has a body.
Well, somewhat. Yeah, he's got shot his legs off, but
yeah. Okay. So that also reminded me of you remember that scene in Hellboy where they were hauling the dead guy around, I forgot what they were looking for, but they dug up the dead guy and he was leading them around and they were just hauling him around on his back. And I was like, oh, it's the Hellboy scene again. Okay.
Your leg's off. No, it isn't.
No, it isn't.
'Tis but a scratch.
It's only a flesh wound.
Yeah, but at that time, so they use the blast. That's supposed to shut down the other robots. It doesn't because it can't reach Ultron because Ultron is not in this observable universe. Because at that point, he is full on kicking the Watchers behind.
And I was wrong about the Tony Stark armor. It wasn't Wakandan. It was Sicarian. So, but, well, in his own universe, the Ultron had destroyed Sakaar. That was another one of those sites that we had gone to. So,
yep, we actually get some pretty good lines out of, even if I don't like who delivered them because it wasn't James Spader, but some good lines out of Ultron, and some really good lines out of the Watcher too, when they're kind of sparring back and forth. Ultron was great when it was like, doesn't it feel better to be involved? And it's also a lot less creepy on your part. I was just like, man, if James Spader had delivered that line, that would have been perfect. But it's still and that's kind of in that Ultron sense of dark humor that he has. I was like, that was one of the best lines here. And like, yeah, because the whole thing about the Watcher just watching is like, you do have power though. One of the things about power is about having responsibility. Responsibility doesn't just mean you never use it. It means using it at the right time. And what is the right time? And that's all philosophy and whatnot. But that's why comic books are cool, man.
Oh, okay. So let me pose a scenario here, because he goes and fights the Watcher, and he's got the Infinity Stones, and he's just kicking butt and taking names. But outside of the timeline, do those Infinity Stones work? Because didn't in Loki, they got up to the TVA and they said, "Oh, you like these things? We use them as paperweights." Well, because they're worthless. They're worthless outside the timeline.
Work in the TVA. I don't know if we had any proof that they wouldn't work in a different timeline. And maybe even someone said that, but all those people were proven to be lied to the entire time. You gotta remember that. Half the stuff that we learned about in the beginning of Loki is a bunch of bullcrap made up by He Who Remains. So, a Kang variant. So all of those people are just going about doing whatever because they've all been brainwashed. So, yeah, if you've been brainwashed to think, oh, don't worry about those, they can't do any harm. Now that they're here, they can't do any harm. Because what? Who's going to escape the TVA? No one ever does that. Except Loki's, apparently. Why? I don't know.
Because it's Loki.
That lip action. But yeah, so it's possible that the stones work in different places. Maybe they just don't work in the TVA. We don't actually know where the TVA is. That could be in the quantum realm, especially since we're supposed to see Kang in Quantumania, and that's how people time travel and possibly travel to different multiverses. It's probably, Quantumania. What do you just add quantum in front of everything? Yeah.
We got Doctor Strange in the quantum multiverse of madness.
I'm definitely ready for more Strange Burrito Supreme. Whether that means evil Doctor Strange or just more Doctor Strange, I'm with you 100%. The great thing I liked about this was when Ultron was taunting him, and he's like, "You don't have the will to beat me," or whatever. He's like, "You have no idea. You can't calculate my will." Still treating him like a machine. Which I was like, "Yeah, nice." And then he goes Super Saiyan, which was cool. He does. He just totally powers up, and then proceeds to get that. He runs away after that. That was actually after that point. That was after he had powered up, and then he still gets his butt kicked. He goes hard. I liked when Ultron headbutted him, and then he headbutted him back, and I was like, he's like, "I got a big head, dude!" Bam. And it was crazy seeing how tall the Watcher was compared to Tony or Doctor Strange at the end. So it was just dude, if he was fighting Ultron just now, that means, and he's that big, and they look like they're the same size. That means Ultron is in one of his jacked up, crazy bodies. That Vision body is 2 times the size of an actual person at this point, with the armor and everything. Just because that's literally how big the Watcher is.
Now, what about, did we get Galactus in this? Was that who that was?
Well, no. That was
that who that was supposed to be?
You can call it a foreshadowing. Well, that was just Ultron.
No. I'm talking about the scene where they were busting through the universes and there was somebody eating the galaxy. I think you made a meme about it.
That was Ultron.
Oh, it was?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Fine,
and
whatever.
So this is the original. And see, that's him. The red eyes.
I guess.
And it's
I want it to be Galactus.
It's a foreshadowing.
Yep, there you go.
I need a pizza. All right. So definitely a lot to look forward to in the final episode of What If. They've told a bunch of different stories. They're interconnecting some of those now. We're going to see exactly where we end. And I'm excited to find out how they're planning on defeating this universe hopping Ultron. Multiverse hopping now.
Multiverse, yeah.
Because they're trying to save the multiverse.
I kind of wonder, theory number one, if the caretaker, or I'm sorry, the Watcher went to Strange because Strange is, super powerful because he ate all those things. But also, I think it's because Strange evil Doctor Strange at this point is probably one of the very few people who can contact the Living Tribunal to where they can intervene.
I think the only thing we've seen of the Living Tribunal so far is a statue of that in the Wasteland or whatever in Loki.
Well, we've seen a staff in Doctor Strange 1, and then the statue thing in Loki.
What staff was that?
It was Mordo's weapon.
Yeah.
I did not know that. Yep, that's evil Doctor Strange there. He's got all his creepy demons and otherworldly powers that he's absorbed. I was kind of wondering if he was going to try and absorb the Watcher or something like that, but I probably would guess that the Watcher is too powerful for even this very powerful Strange, and they're what are they gonna have to gather a team? I'm getting a team to get you, son of a bitch. I'm in. Like we're putting a team. They what? I mean, like, right? Don't they have to assemble the Avengers? Isn't that what they do?
We
Avengers
avenge things.
assemble. It's like their
Theory
whole
number
thing.
2. During all the commotion, once they get the team together or whatever the hell they plan on doing, evil Doctor Strange is going to disappear. And that's who you see in the Spider-Man trailer.
I'm going to expand on that one. Now, hang on, because I think there's some truth to that. I don't think he's going to duck out. I think he'll defeat Ultron first. Maybe he's thinking, oh, I can absorb Ultron and I'll be even more powerful, and it turns out that he won't be able to or something, but he'll defeat Ultron. But I think in the last frame, yes, you're right. I think he will escape, and that's possibly who we see in the Spider-Man trailer is evil Doctor Strange, and that ties everything together.
Dr. Evil Strange.
Dr. Evil Strange.
Oh my!
Right.
Name sounds even dirtier than I expected it to.
I didn't go to evil medical school for 4 years to be called Mister.
Okay. Well, I think they're just going to bring Iron Man back, and he's going to beat everybody.
I'm not saying that from the ashes of captivity never has a greater Phoenix metaphor been personified in human history.
Yeah.
I love Robert.
Sakaar Iron Man is going to build a crazy Iron Man suit, and he's going to be one of the multiverse Avengers. Boom. Hopefully. I don't know. That's a prediction.
Well, they've got a whole multiverse of things that they can go. They could go get 100 Tony Starks.
A lot at your fingertips. But,
Actually, I don't know if we discussed
quantity.
it, but this season was supposed to be 10 episodes.
So hopefully we'll have a really long...
I was going to say, are we going to have a long last episode?
I don't know. I'm trying to remember where I read it from. I think it was Variety or Hollywood Reporter, one of those two. But they had interviewed the producer, director of this show, and he said something in the interview about how this was supposed to be 10 episodes. I don't remember what happened, or maybe it was the episodes were too long or something, and they decided to use that 10th episode for season 2 or something like that.
So maybe we end on a cliffhanger and then we get the resolution.
Could be
next year sometime.
Marvel would never end on a cliffhanger.
Yeah, WandaVision,
but that, yeah,
Loki.
That would ruin my theory for... Oh, wait. Does it ruin my theory?
Not necessarily.
For Mephisto?
Well, yeah.
No, that's been confirmed.
Oh,
right.
Snap.
Now, I had another theory concerning No Way Home, and I was trying to think if that ruins that or not.
The strange theory? The evil Strange?
Well, maybe we should talk about Venom first.
Yes, maybe that'll spark my memory.
Okay. All right. So anyone that doesn't want to hear spoilers, run away or close this.
Get out of here.
Go on.
We're going to talk Venom spoilers now. So I didn't get a chance to see it. I'm excited to hear what these guys thought. So you've been warned. We're talking Venom now. Look out.
And we're talking spoilers.
So hit me. Reviews, thoughts, whoever wants to go first, or whatever you want to say. I'm here. I want to hear it.
I'm still itchy about Woody Harrelson. I'm still on the fence. I mean, he
was not psycho enough.
Don't get me wrong. He does play a good psychopath, but that movie actually kind of inspired me. Look right here. I went back and I was reading my Maximum Carnage. I went back
excellent.
and I was reading my comic books because when I was at Fan Expo a few weeks ago, I met one of the artists that did Maximum Carnage, And he was the one that told me, he said, go see Venom because there's a lot of elements from Maximum Carnage that are in this movie. And so I was like, oh, I was all kinds of excited about it. Woody Harrelson is too old. He is too old to be playing Cletus Cassidy. I've determined this because based on...
You sound just like Yoda. Congratulations. I think Yoda's awesome, by the way. So continue.
But I mean, based on the way the movie was and the way it was set up and the timeline of the movie, Cassidy would have been about my age. While this movie, I got news for you. Woody Harrelson's probably like 20 years older than I am. So him playing that role, I mean, he can play a good psychopath. Don't get me wrong. He was good in Natural Born Killers. Heck yeah, he can play a psycho. I get it, but he was too old. He's just too old.
He's just too old.
He's just so old.
Okay, so he is 60. I was like, gosh, is he older than me? I thought he played an okay what's his name?
Cletus Cassidy.
Okay, I didn't want to say something wrong, and but he did okay. But I was really expecting a more vicious, psychotic person.
It was with the Carnage in the comic books. Cassidy and Carnage are very much of the same mind. You know, it was brought out in this movie. I think Venom at one point said, "Look at them; they're not symbiotic. They're not together, not like we are." And in the comic books, they're like that. And you know, I just want to kill randomly, and great, so do I. And we're just going to do this. In this one, they were at odds to the point of, I want to kill people, but I only want to kill certain people versus, I want to kill everybody. So,
well, I mean, they kind of agreed to work with each other there at the very beginning, and then, you know, slowly but surely, it just kind of started splitting to where.
Well, it was splitting, and then he went after Shriek, which, what's his name? Cassidy didn't like at all.
Oh yeah.
So. And I thought she was great, too. The girl that did Shriek. I thought she was amazing.
Is that the same girl in Pirates of the Caribbean?
I think it is. I meant to look it up, and I kept looking at her. Which
Pirates of the Caribbean, though? She's in
the third one.
She plays Calypso.
She was Calypso.
Calypso.
Naomi something or another.
Yeah, I mean, she looked really familiar. Now that was the only thing I could.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, I think that's the girl from Pirates of the Caribbean. That's gotta be.
So, what did you think of the fight scenes?
Oh, they were amazing. Mm-hmm. They were great. There was one. there was one issue that I had, and they fixed it eventually. But when at some point Eddie and Venom split, and Venom decides to go off on his own and do his own thing, and he jumps into this one body and he turns into Venom and he runs off, and I was like, now in the first movie he couldn't do that because the bodies wouldn't sustain him for very long. Mm-hmm. But then they started showing people, oh well, he's sick and dying now, so we got to switch to somebody else.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think it was just that most people weren't like as compatible. Like they can take over everyone or anyone, but some people like aren't compatible. And then it would instantly kill some people. Like they're very incompatible. And I think Eddie Brock was like
something was special about Eddie.
Pretty great for just like I think Carnage is supposed to be like also very unique. They're intertwined.
The way that they did the Carnage, I don't know, the origin, if you will,
the birth.
But I mean that was in the comic books, Eddie and Cassidy were cellmates, and when Eddie turned into Venom to escape, he left a part of the suit behind, and that's where Carnage came from. And Carnage was in Cassidy's blood, so basically, in Maximum Carnage, that's how he gets out. Is he like bites his own lip? Well, when that does, it draws blood, and there you go, Carnage. Hello. So him biting Eddie in this one and saying, "Oh, that's something's different there. Something, you've got something." I was like, "Okay, so you're sticking to some of the story, and it's you're taking a little different take on it, but sure, why not?" The fight scenes were amazing. When Venom, go ahead. No, go ahead. I was going to say when Venom took over that. I can't even remember her name. The little shopkeeper lady.
Oh,
that was hilarious.
Mrs. Chen.
Mrs. Chen, yeah. Well, every scene with Mrs. Chen was great. I'm happy to eat Mrs. Chen. No, you can't eat her. What? It's great.
So, do you think? Because I've never read the comics, so I'm not quite sure. But I'm kind of wondering if, oh crap, what is his name? Is it? Oh, Mulligan. Do you think he'll become Toxin?
Well, no, honestly, because of the way that the movie ended with the post-credit scene, I think they're gonna. I don't know that they'll necessarily steer away from that. That's where Venom's specifically fighting other symbiotes. I think it'll be more within the MCU Spider-Man realm now. He'll be ready to go after Spider-Man now. So, speaking of which, okay,
let's talk about the end credit scene.
Yes.
The post-credit scene.
How did it end? What happened? Did he win?
So
is it a cliffhanger? Is Carnage still out there? I mean,
no. If he is, I'll be shocked, because at the end the Carnage and Cassidy had separated. Venom ate the Carnage symbiote. And then he went to yeah, and then he
nice.
He went to Cassidy and he picked him up and he said something about, "I just wanted to be your friend and that's all I wanted. I gave you the interview because I wanted you to like me." And then Venom said, "F this guy," and he bit his head off. It was great. Awesome.
Nice. That sounds.
And that was it.
Nice.
That's the end of the movie.
That sounds good.
So, I take that back. He took Venom to the beach. Go hang out at the beach.
And so, end credits scenes. There are two of them, right?
Just the one.
Just one.
What?
And actually,
Unless I missed one.
No.
It was.
I stayed through the whole thing too. It was a mid-credits scene. He did. So they're at this. What do you call it? Like
hotel.
It's a little crappy resort. They're at the beach, so they're on this little crappy resort, and all of a sudden the TV clicks on, and there's J. Jonah Jameson talking about Peter Parker being Spider-Man. Peter Parker is Spider. It was the same clip from Spider-Man Far From Home, and then it rolled over to Tom Holland, and it showed Tom Holland and his Spider-Man, and then there was a big flash of light, and then they were in a different room. But Venom stood up and he went over to the TV and he licked the screen and he said, that guy there. And then some other guy come out of the bathroom and said, "What are you doing in my room?" And it was Eddie again. And he's like, "I really don't know." But they were very obviously in a different place because they were in a little crap resort and it was raining outside, and now it's sunny outside and they're in a nice resort.
So let's talk
Multiverse.
Implications. So he's now seeing MCU Spider-Man. I get. So you think this tease is going to be resolved in Spider-Man Far From Home or in Multiverse of Madness? I would be leaning more towards Far From Home, because Far From Home, the whole thing is everything starts getting jacked up because he wants people to not know he's Spider-Man from that specific event. So he sees that on TV, stuff starts going crazy. Now, one weird implication is that, since you said that was on TV before everything started going crazy, is that he was already that's in the same universe, but Sony plays it fast and loose with how involved their Spider-Man characters are with the MCU.
Maybe they're deciding to play nice now. That's the only thing I can think.
Do you think Venom's going to be in Spider-Man Far From Home?
Maybe as like an end credits cameo, possibly. I mean, you gotta think Spider-Man's going on in New York, Venom's happening in San Francisco. So you're
how could a superhero get across the country?
Opposite sides of the country. Well, and even still, Venom's actually at a resort somewhere.
Also, didn't you just say it was a different room?
Yeah.
Yes.
So now he's in New York.
Well, yeah, but he's in a resort, not a beach resort in New York.
Yeah.
Okay, wait. So he's in a different, like, just room at the same place, or
he's still on the beach.
I kind of got the impression things changed. I mean, they were still in the same place, still in the same hotel, but I don't know, timeline or what.
It's the effects of Doctor Strange's spell. Things
because
are resetting.
No, because what they showed in the post-credit scene happened.
It was
moments.
I was
moments after Far From Home.
Yeah.
So there's no way that
you don't think
Spidey had, that happened, and then all of a sudden he's at Doctor Strange's house.
No, well, why do you think that he'd have to get there at a certain time? He could get there a year later, and if Doctor Strange's spell affects people from remembering that event, then that was when things would start taking place. That's when the spell starts changing things.
No.
What? What? You're just like, no, because no. Well, if he's doing a spell that stops people from remembering an event that happened in the past, and he's like the master of mysticism and time and all kinds of crap, you don't think it's possible that it could be? And it's literally talking about the multiverse. I think it's very possible.
No.
I think you might.
Even though we've got Dr. Octopus from Spider-Man freaking 2 coming in, being the same age as but no, it can't affect time.
But now wait,
yeah, come on.
Somebody pointed out to me, and I haven't gone back to watch the trailer yet, but somebody pointed out to me that if you watch that Spider-Man 2 trailer and you see Doc Ock there, he doesn't have the arms on him. Where's the?
Yeah, he does. They climb him up, don't they?
What?
I like I said, I haven't gone back to re-watch the trailer, but he said, yeah, when it shows actually him, he doesn't have the arms. The arms are shown separately, or in a separate scene. So I was like, I'm gonna have to go check that out.
I can't risk playing it during our stream because Sony will try and slap me with another copyright strike, and then the next day we're retracting that because that was just a trailer. I'm like, yeah, shut up! I know. Why did you do it?
So, yeah, I think cameo maybe at end credit scene. I think I don't know. I'm still hoping against hope that all three Spider-Men are not in this movie, in the new Spider-Man movie. I really don't want to see Andrew Garfield or what's his name, Tobey Maguire. I
didn't like Andrew. I love Tobey, so I wouldn't mind seeing Tobey, but I don't think so. I could be wrong, but I don't think we'll see them. And the only reason Venom recognized him, recognized him is because the symbiotes, they have a hive mind. So
where's the arms?
They're holding him up. It's this classic pose when the arms are all underneath him. Forearms holding him aloft when he looks down on people.
All right.
But yeah, you're right. They're not in that shot.
Or
There you
maybe
go.
he's upgraded in their
I
compact.
checked. I mean, we
behind
definitely. It's
See, the arms are shown separately.
yeah, and what are they holding up? That dude.
That guy.
Yeah, that's the guy at the top of the arms. I just do remember I watched Spider-Man 2 not too long ago from Raimi's trilogy, and he definitely did that pose a couple times where he uses the arms just to like make himself taller, and from that angle you don't really see the arms. But there are other shots definitely where they're like flying over his back and like hanging out next to his face and being creepy as all get out. Those arms were crazy in that movie.
Oh, they did show the Spider-Man trailer at the front of Venom when we went to go see it.
What up?
I don't think it didn't show it at ours.
We had, in fact, I told Luke, I said, well, we've got November. We've only got 2 more movies left this year. We've got November for Eternals and December for Spider-Man. And then the new Ghostbusters trailer came on, and I was like, oh, there's 2 in November. We got to go see Ghostbusters 2.
I just saw that new trailer. Looks good.
Yeah, looks
I'm
amazing.
excited for this one.
Yeah. Saw it with my brother. I was just turning on I was looking through stuff on YouTube and it happened to come up and I was like, oh, I've already seen this. And then like there were a bunch of scenes I hadn't seen before and it's like, oh my God, what? When was this dropped?
Long time ago.
Apparently. I just hadn't been paying attention, I guess. But yeah, Ghostbusters look good. So Venom, so you think he's going to be in Multiverse of Madness then? If he's not going to be in,
is Spider-Man supposed to be in Multiverse of Madness?
I don't think so. That's why I figured he's got to be because he's so tight. Like Venom is even more under Sony's thumb than Spider-Man is. They agreed to stuff with Spider-Man for the MCU, but I mean technically the Spider-Man movies are still Sony movies. That's why they're not on Disney Plus.
Yeah,
and
I
yet
don't
so
know
many of
where
the
we would
Spider-Man
see-
cartoons are because that was Fox.
Maybe I don't even think. Well, I don't know. I was thinking maybe Young Avengers or I don't
Talking
know.
about Venom.
Yeah.
I just feel like he's more likely to stay in that Spider-Verse that Sony keeps talking about. Although they have also said things will be clearer. They said once Venom and once Spider-Man comes out. So Spider-Man Far From Home will probably...
No Way Home?
Yeah, No Way Home, sorry.
No Way Home's going to clear everything up.
Well, and
it would
launch
be
a couple new questions for...
Yeah, of course.
As is their way.
I mean, it would definitely be interesting to see him, especially since... In this iteration, in this iteration of Venom, and he even said this several times, which I thought was great because, again, tying into the comic books.
You gotta start making some that cut off right there at the middle. Because Debbie and I can lean to the side, but it always seems to get you. Let's start having Here, that one. Let me give you. That one's more fun.
Ooh. So, but he mentioned several times Venom, Lethal Protector. I'm Venom, Lethal Protector, which that was a series in the comic books where he was more of the anti-hero role. You know, he was a bad guy with good intentions.
Sure, like Deadpool.
Yeah. So to see him square off against Spider-Man would kind of like it's kind of counterintuitive. Maybe maybe it's a team up with Spider-Man. Maybe Doc Ock is too much for Doc Ock and possibly Green Goblin.
Well, you just do the
Defoe's laugh and the pumpkin bomb and everything.
God, that would be awesome. But you just do the classic Marvel, like, hey, we just met for the first time. Let's have a quick fight before we then decide to have a dialogue.
What was the scene in
Doth Mother know you're wearing her drapes?
No. You had the scene from the Three Amigos. Tell them about the Cochise picture, Morty. We fly. You meet Cochise. You hate each other. You fight. But then you come to respect each other. And at the end of the movie, you're friends. We take you out to Baja, and we shoot the picture in 3 days.
That happens in
A lot of
several,
movies.
not just Marvel movies.
Not just Marvel. That's a lot.
I mean, that's the entire movie of Batman versus Superman.
Kong versus Godzilla.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, we're friends now. Well, that's like, team up versus. Yeah, it's good. It's a trope. I don't know. You guys got anything else you want to say on Venom?
Carnage was done very well. I liked the way that they did Carnage. They stayed fairly true to the comic books as far as his capabilities. I didn't like the fact that it was trying to think of who did this, but it was like every time he ate somebody, he got bigger and stronger.
Mm-hmm.
He was like the Blob, and eventually, I mean, he was just friggin'
Humongous,
huge.
yeah.
And I was like, I don't recall that power in the comic book, but okay, whatever.
Meat grinder.
Yeah, it was a good movie. I enjoyed it. I mean, their humor. Love Venom. He's always got, the great one-liners and whatnot.
He was
Tom
hilarious.
Hardy, hello. And
Mrs. Chen, hello.
Hello. I just didn't. I was expecting more of Cletus. I wanted a really crazy psychopath.
Oh,
that's my only disappointment.
And funny thing, they had the wedding. Cletus and Shriek were getting married. Did you happen to catch the music? The music was just perfect for them getting married. It was Mozart's Requiem.
Oh.
It was like the death mass. They're getting married to it. It's great.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like a good one. I'm pissed that I couldn't get out to see it this weekend, but I will be seeing it before next week's show. So I'll let you know if I agree with you or if I'm like, what are you guys talking about? That was total garbage. But I liked the first one. So
you guys are dumb. You don't know what you're talking about.
Debbie will just be like, no.
No.
Well, never. Would you like to expound upon that? Just no.
No.
Fair enough. All right. Well, I think that's it for us this week. Join us again next Monday at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time, where we'll be talking about the season finale of What If. And I, of course, will give you my thoughts on Venom. But more importantly, season finale, What If? I can't wait to see what they do with that. It's really, expectations are high now. So
2 days.
Yep.
Tuesday, Wednesday.
Woohoo!
Not long to wait. I do like that. Talk about it and then pretty much gear up for the next one.
Yep.
All right. We will see you next time.
Hey, let's do Get Help.
What?
Get Help.
No.
Come on, you love it.
I hate it.
It's great. It works every time.
It's humiliating.
Do you have a better plan?
No.
We're doing it.
Get help! Please! My brother's dying! Get help!